Hello FAF enjoyers and welcome back to the channel. Today we're playing Robot Gendercide Simulator 2007 and we're going to be on this desert map for a 3v3 which is played on the TMM ladder. It's going to be a map gen. We've got a blue team down here on the left. We've got a red team up here on the right. Average rating is around 1600 and it's on one of those maps where you've got these clustered mexes like this, and this is basically my favorite type of map to play. Land with like these clustered mexes. It means there's specific places to take and hold. You get rewarded for doing so. You can invade your other's mexes. This is kind of my favorite type of map. And the other reason it's my favorite type of map, Pond Navy. Hear me out, boys. Pond Navy. I love Pond Navy, okay? Perhaps not on this map though. It's not quite a bit too far to your opponent's base. These two ponds looking like a chain link off a bicycle, or perhaps two Millennium Falcons facing off each other. So let's look at our players. We've got BudweiserBliss. He's playing in Aeon. He's the Aeon champion today. Where is this ACU going? To assist the Hydro. Very sensible. Then we've got Buttons, and Buttons is a previous Derpcast MVP in which he was playing as a quote-unquote pro. I think he was at 1800 though, so that would be his global rating, not rated so high in 3v3. Up here we've got TAG-Defcon. He's playing in the purple Seraphim com. All races represented today. We're playing very diverse makeup of factions. It's good for our diversity metrics. Up here and strolling through his own factory template, we've got her Moskovdir. Is that right? This could be a Russian player, although her is typically for a German. And he is doing an invade by the look of this with this ACU. That's a very interesting play. Also spreading out with his engineers quite quickly, reclaiming the reclaim. This is good play for a 1300 so far. Seems very sensible, as long as he can get enough E online. Is he stalling? No, he's not stalling, so doing well so far. And last but not least, our highest rated player today, it's going to be StormLantern. He's going third land, third air. He's working on P-gens. This doesn't give adjacency, and this can't be built in, so I don't know what this P-gen setup is. But he must have a reason for doing so. Spreading out to the mexes. He is in the carry slot. So this is the carry slot because they get a few more mexes, and this is the cuck slot up here because they get less mexes. Bit of housekeeping, so some improvements we've made to the channel since the last thing. Obviously, all of your comments, particularly the constructive feedback, I read every single comment, and I also look at the accounts that made it, just for warning purposes. If you leave a comment, I will look at your account. You know who you are. So small changes. The text size. Text in this in here is now larger. Massive text size so you can read what's going on. There you go. Definitely going to be able to read the salt in future. The size of the UI has been increased 50%. As far as the visual goes, if I go to options and look at the video options, you can see we are still playing here 240 FPS, and I am exporting these files on massive amounts of bitrate. Like minimum of 80 bitrate, maximum of 160, so it creates enormous files. And the reason that we're doing that's actually partially the reason that we're doing a smaller game today, is that my hard drive is full. And nice dodge there by Defcon, that was great. Is that if I record another really long one, the media encoder for Adobe might not actually process it. I need to go and delete some stuff. Loses an engineer there, but this Tech 1 bomber not paying for itself. There's no dead engineers up here. The other reason is that it's been quite a while since I casted a shorter game, and this one, at just under 30 minutes, promises to be fast and furious. So I'm just trying something new. Obviously, it's probably not going to be for all of you, but don't worry, I'm not about to start talking about my dysfunctional family.
I don't care about you, your crew, your little family.
Nice pickup. Okay, so this bomber allowed to stay around much longer than it ever should have been. It does pick up the second engineer. I can't pronounce this name, but Hermoz actually ends up retreating from Buttons' ACU. So on defense here, and being very aggressive already. It's AriGold. He's already blapping these purple tanks. He's got a few kills on his ACU, as you can see.
Hello, nice to see you.
Jesus. Orange, Jesus Christ. You lost your mind, Orange?
That additional UI size increase is actually really nice. Much clearer on the ACU health and the income for all the players. Much nicer having it a bit bigger, if you know what I mean. I didn't actually realize, but if you're playing FAF, there's a little thing here in which you can adjust the text size. I didn't actually realize that existed, but I do now. 10 years playing FAF, and I didn't even know that button existed to adjust the font. So we've got gun range in here for Hermoz. Very sensible. He can apply some more pressure. We've got T2 here for DEFCON. He's playing in Danger Purple. He's charging. I was going to make a Spirit Bomb reference. He's kind of charging his attack here, but I already did that at the last meme cast, so I can't do that again. We have to stay original in this. And AriGold is continuing this push. That's actually... I mean, he's going to clear up this. He's denying the mexes whilst his ally already has them. So this is really good for his team. He just needs to be careful that he doesn't overextend. He doesn't have air control. No T2 air on the map for a snipe. So, yeah, all these players down here, they're basically just ecoing right now. So, can't get away with it. It looks like the center of the map has these cliffs, so you can't really... You can come around here, you could maybe distance build a PD up here, which would be quite disgusting. I think distance building a PD up would be cool. Could also raid this with a couple of Tech 1 arties. The main threat here is Hover, I think, in the middle. StormLantern deleting his Tech 1 factories. He doesn't think he needs any more... he doesn't think he needs any more Tech 1 spam. That seems accurate. He's going to engage here. He's got his comm to fall back on. Budweiser making lots of units, but not using his ACU. So his army's going to get picked off here. And all that reclaim is going to go to StormLantern, which is really bad for his team there. Just keep the map up. Now, AriGold is in a very dangerous position. I feel like he should be retreating, but he actually decided to kind of keep pushing. He denied all of this. Taking these mexes almost and making a PD might even be best, because retreating through here might be hard if he loses this. He's up against a vanilla comm, oh no, and a Tech 2 and gun comm. DEFCON is looking absolutely dangerous right now. There's no way that AriGold can fight this Tech 2 PD. He needs to retreat here. If he goes in for this, he's almost certainly doomed. He does see it. Tech 1 PD up as well. Yeah, he's doing the sensible thing in retreating, but he will have to stay out of ACU range. He's kind of overextended here. Where is his ally? Well, Hermoz is coming. He's walled off back home, which is quite an interesting choice. Clearly trying to mitigate some of the threat from the hover. But he's gotten factory blocked by Buttons. That is filthy tryhard tactics, Buttons. You know who you are doing this factory blocking. And I think that's probably going to work. Ari goes for his own block here with the Shift G. A single overcharge here would murder all of these tanks. But the gun is just going to be too much weight of fire. And Ari is... I don't think there's any way he can get out of this. Buttons could almost retreat, really. There's no reason for him to put himself under threat. So yeah, AriGold a little bit too aggressive, gets caught out, gets pushed back by this PD, then gets a little bit of fancy micro from Buttons there, factory blocking him, cancelling his walk animation, and then crushing him before Moz could get there. Now, can Moz turn this around and maybe pick off Buttons in response? Remember that Moz is the lowest rated player, so I am going to be rooting for him the entire game. He is going for Tech 2 air, Tech 3 air. He's rushed T3 air. Okay, that's his plan. Got 2 P-Gens, whole bunch of 2 Tech 2 P-Gens, whole bunch of Tech 1 P-Gens. He's... Now, normally if you're going to rush T3 Air, don't recommend it going heavy on mass storages. And the reason for that is that mass storages are really expensive in E. It's much faster to T3 Air if you go no mass storages. Just get the mexes. But, I almost think it would be nice if StormLantern gave some of this to Moz so he could, her Moz so he could micro it with his ACU, but there is a big difference in their ratings. 500 points almost, really. Moz does have the gun, so he's going to be able to trade effectively here. Oh, okay, here comes the attack. StormLantern moves in. No ping in the chat. No mark on the map as far as we can see, but... which has kind of unfortunately left her Moz out of range. In come the gunships. So StormLantern making T2 gunships. He's focusing on Defcon though. Is this a big brain plan to take them both out at the same time? It could be. A Shift G behind will pause them enough. Will maybe block them enough for her Moz to get in range. Additional gunships inbound. Button's getting focused. Really he should be focusing Defcon here because that would... focusing Defcon would allow him to get them both down without losing the units. Obviously, losing those units means that they can't keep the damage up. But from the first comm explosion reduces their overall DPS from the force. Can her Moz see them? Yeah, he can see them. I think he might be using the interceptors for visual range. Her Moz just goes absolutely balls to the walls. Nearly gets himself killed, but picks off 2 players. And that means our game is now a 2v1? Yeah, 2v1. We've got a 1600 versus an 18 and a 13. Down the bottom, StormLantern's getting pushed hard here by BudweiserBliss. He's got double gun and shield. This is absolute peak Aeon power spike for the kind of early to mid game. This power spike, absolutely brutal. Double gun and shield.
Good evening, godless sodomites.
We are on the new balance patch, so he doesn't have the triple gun yet, but he's still got double gun. StormLantern retreating here into the pond, it looks like. These walls are going to mess with the pathing a little bit. Some Tech 1 PD is going to help to thin these units out, along with the gunships. There's no flak with this force, which, well, there's one at Tech 1 anti-air, but that's not going to do it. And Budweiser got enough E to be overcharging at the same time as using his shield. Yeah, he's got loads of E. There must be T3 air on the field here. I don't see it, but there must be T3 air somewhere, T3 P-Gen. He's taking a lot of damage from these gunships, though. He can potentially still kill StormLantern here. But obviously, if he dies, then it's game over, so he desperately needs to kill him and not get caught in the blast. Both players looking to pick up veterancy here. That's a really smart play. Pick up the extra health. It's like a 1,500 health instant heal if you get a veterancy. Permanent health increase. Torp Bomber's brought in now for StormLantern. Budweiser could be in trouble here between the gunships and the tanks. StormLantern not opting to push his advantage. He's going to retreat, which is quite sensible. Moz is going for stealth. There's a massive push up at the top, and Budweiser needs he's microing his comm, but he really needs to make some PD, perhaps around here, here. He's got to kind of make some PD somewhere. All of this flak here is no use. These factories are all idle. They haven't been turned on. Again, factories are idle here. He's making mass Tech 1 Air factories for Inties, but the game is kind of moving beyond Tech 1 Air. There is Tech 3 and the air on the field here for Hermoz. He's got ASF and his own gunships, so Tech air control firmly in the hands of Team 2 here. Map control in Team 2 as well. Economic income advantage, well, that's going to stay with Team 1, and it's significant here. We're talking about 25-30% income advantage, and that's on these T2 mexes. You see the T2 mexes back here are not all T2 like they are on this side. However, that can change very quickly if this raid does good damage. Not sure what on earth is going on with these going the wrong way. But these are the mini chickens, the Ilchavos, and they are highly damaging and high health. We've got a whaler on the field as well, so Hermos going up to T3, attacking air-to-ground gunships. That's a real problem. Unless Budweiser can get a handle on this, he's going to find himself basically losing the game just economically. He'll have to go for some desperate all-in. He's got a TML in the middle, but it hasn't been fired yet. He's assisting that. And again, 20,000 mass and storage. Just the factories are idle. He has turned some of them on, but it's no real good targets for this, to be honest. Not a great TML position. He also needs radar. He's got these tanks idle when he's going to get raided. He could lose all these T2 mexes. What is he going to do? Well, he's going to go for a push. StormLantern is on an upgrade. He's doing stealth. Very sensible. Health and regen and being able to be much harder to be sniped. That's a great plan. Tech 1 PD here. A big wall of Tech 1 PD. Normally if you do this, unless you're desperate, which, to be fair, Budweiser is in a pretty desperate position, try and space them out. So you'd want to go like... you want to go like one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. Still within the build range, but not so they don't get splash damaged by stuff. We've got the first major air attack of the game here. Dogfight. It looks like it's going to go to Hermos. He just has a couple more at the beginning. These are all now very low health. These TMLs inbound, but they're going to get shot by this Zapper. I'm not sure why he launched them. He knew that they were low health. Now, there was a request to do less split screen. I will try to do slightly less split screen this game, but it's really hard sometimes. I try not to miss everything. I know some people just want the cinematics, but I hate missing things. Nano repair here for StormLantern, and that will make him, with the new balance patch, a very tanky boy. Counterplay here is a Tide, a torpedo launcher. That's going to start damaging him. He's got 30 regen, so I don't actually know if that will either cut through his... Yeah, it will cut through his regen. DPS is enough. So yeah, he would have eventually died. He cancels that and moves. So, is Budweiser stalling? Those going up very slow. Nope, he's got plenty of mass in the bank. Again, Gunship's going to be defending this push. We've got Riptides moving in against T3 Engineers. Killing these off is great if you can do that. We'll come down here because StormLantern looks like he's in trouble. Actually, having the UI bigger means that this map is kind of useful for as a sub-zoom. That might be useful. That might be quite good instead of going split screen all the time. Very long layer of torps. That's not really going to work because they're in range of the rhinos. But between the torpedoes and the tanks, I feel like a kill on StormLantern here is possible with what Budweiser has, but it's going to require a lot of micro. And the problem with that is that he's got too much going on everywhere. This wall of PD is great as a kind of desperate defense mechanism. But the chickens could run it over if they just shift G down here. The strat is in over the top. Now, what is the strat going for? Or is this a... Okay, so he is microing the strat. It's going to be picking up double mexes with the attack ground command, using the blast radius. Gunship's going to kill off these blazes. That's very sad for the Aeon. And that's actually going to leave Budweiser fairly exposed. He does seem to have air dominance, though. Hermos using his mass to make gunships and strat bombers, which isn't a bad call, but at the same time, it's allowed his opponent to make ASF. Remember that Budweiser can basically put 3 bases worth of eco into his ASF, and Hermoz can only put 1. Those rhinos doing a lot of damage here. Look at the health just fall off this shield. And the regen enough to kind of weather that. He almost took no damage. Torp bombers and Nothers for Budweiser. We've got Torp bombers and gunships for Team 2. So, and we've also got loyalists here. This is a scary looking Cybran army now. We've got a brick in here. We've got loyalists. We've got these, obviously, the anti-airs firing away at the attacking gunships and Nothers. And Budweiser's taken a fair bit of hull damage. See the torpedoes there damaging the armor on his ACU. Another trio of torp bombs in. Is he going to get out of the water? No, they actually hurt him. They all hit him there. A Riptide push into the middle of these loyalists is going to be disastrous. Sorry, not Riptides. They were Blazes. The loyalists and bricks will eat Blazes for breakfast. And the Ilchevo push up the top. Is this going to T3? It is. So we're going for a frontline T3 upgrade for this factory. And we're going to see sniper bots, which will, if just used on an attack command, they will kill all of this PD. That's very smart. Good use of APM. Nothers potentially available to do a snipe here. But Nothers not the most accurate, and they're quite easy to dodge because they have a small blast. The Nothers get cleaned up there. Not before the Torp bombers come in and take him down to half health, though. More Torp bombers in. Hermoz down to 3,000 into the red. Not sure where he's going. He's built this big wall here. If he wants to retreat, he just needs to delete a section of his wall. He gets out of the water. But the Nothers, where are the Nothers? I think the Nothers got cleaned up. Is he going to walk all the way around the wall? My man, just go through the wall. Just delete it. Deleting a wall section, by the way, just lets you go in immediately. You don't have to go around your wall or reclaim it. These Tech 2 mexes got cleaned up by StormLantern, so that's a great play by him. Good raiding. Tech 2 PD spammed as an emergency countermeasure by Budweiser. That's going to clean up some of these. This is quite hard to deal with because it's behind all the factories. There's a lot of hit point blocking going on here. So Tech 1 PD at the front, funneling them into this Tech 2 PD bank. I still think there's enough mini chickens here to crush the air grid. So we need to go and have a look what's going on here because there's an ACU under threat. That takes priority. Got another push at the bottom. Moz is getting attacked by these Riptides. In come a bunch of Tech 1 bombers as well. That's going to drop him. He picks up a vet mid damage. Vulthu's over the top. If only he'd just walked through his walls with the shield, he would be safe. Very questionable pathing choices there. Luckily for him, the explosion kills all of the Tech 2 units. But we're now down to a 1v1, and it is a 18 versus a 1600. Obviously, that's not exact due to their partial ratings. This push from StormLantern can roll this force of only floaty Aeon units. Remember, the Aeon units are made of paper. It's because they didn't get enough testosterone when they were young, and so they're just weaker frames overall. The Seraphim, obviously, with their super HP, they're probably juicing at the gym, trying to get recognition from the UEF chads. And here we have the napalm, so that's our war crime for today. Big block of T3, T2 here with a bunch of deceivers. Again, But they keep blinking on and off. There's a lot of flax. He can't deal with it with gunships. He'll have to make PD. Really, he needs his own units. And ideally, he makes an experimental, I would say, Bliss. He could really use an experimental right now. But no radar up top. He's scouting. So he's got T3 scouting. That's good. But he's down 3-1 on eco and running out of options. I think the flax are going to kill off the gunships. How many flax are left? 1, 2, 3. Now down to 2. Just 1 flak left. We've got a push of mainly flax coming in here. But they're running into an Otham. And more flax. More flax everywhere. Okay, it looks like 10 flax decided to walk into a line of Tech 1 PD. Why would you do this? I somehow missed it because we're not doing the thing. We're not splitting the screen. But yeah, sending 10 flax against Tech 1 PD. Not the greatest matchup for the flax. Tech 3 land HQ going down here, and Budweiser is going to lose this entire bottom base, and looks like he's going to lose his entire top base as well in this 1v1. The sniper bots, if they were given orders to actually attack move, they would be cleaning up this already. But I don't think he even needs them. At this point, he can just YOLO his tanks in and probably crush the air grid. And that's going to leave StormLantern with very few options. Sorry, Budweiser with very few options here. He's definitely losing the macro game. He's got just 2,000 mass left. StormLantern, 12,000 in the bank. So if they're trying to rush something, StormLantern definitely has an advantage. What is he working on? Well, he's increasing his air grid. Wants to make more ASF. Getting cucked by a wall down here. It's quite funny. So eco-wise, it is 60 to 350. So yeah, Budweiser has got to pull something out of his back pocket. Right meow. And it looks like that's going to be a last-minute air snipe. There's 2 shields and a whole bunch of SAMs in here. There's also flax on the way in. So it's not the easiest kill. StormLantern also on 16,000 hit points. But 2 of the SAMs go down to the strat bombs. But StormLantern didn't take any hull damage. He starts working on another shield. Very sensible. That's almost nearly finished. A whole bunch more bombs. How did he die? Did he die to the... He died to the explosion from the ion reactor. StormLantern did everything right there. He did everything right. He was making ASF. He had the shields. He had the SAMs. He had the flax. And then to dodge, he moved back into the ion reactor and took like 9,000 damage from its explosion or whatever it is from the volatility. And that killed him. He would have lived. Oh well, that was quite a fun one. Close little 3v3, ended in a 1v1. And a very desperate all-in, last-minute all-in. Remember in FAF, you are not dead until the fat lady sings, or something. It's not over until the whining in the chat. I don't know. You know what I mean. You can always try and pull something out. If you've got a little bit of mass in an air factory, you can always try a wild snipe. Well played to Budweiser. He was up against it. He was up against 2 players, I think, there. Right? Yeah, 2v1 against a higher rated player. He was behind. Still manages to clutch the win. What an absolute Chad. Well played. Thanks very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's cast. If you want to help support the channel, the best thing you could do is leave me a nice positive comment, or if you've got constructive feedback, let me know what you think could be improved and I'll see what I can do. Have a great day and enjoy your weekend.